Mission to Mars design project involves designing, constructing, and operating a device, the Mars Rover, to compete against 3 other such devices. The competition is won by scoring more points than the other teams in an arena in 45-second rounds by completing several objectives of varying point values and difficulty. The arena is divided into 4 starting zones from where the machines start. 4 home zones, and a large rotating metal drum with a concentric cavity which represents a mountain ridge in the center of the arena. The overall design of our rover, the Red Rover, is a rolling cart design that fires itself into the arena with a pneumatic actuator mounted on its rear edge. 2 arm linkages connected to a stationary base guide the cart as it rolls and push it to a set consistent distance. Weights on the arms provide this push and also force the hinged arms to bottom out, locking them in place and preventing the cart from rolling backwards. The stationary base serves as an anchor for the linkages and serves as a launch pad for the pneumatic to kick against. All mechatronics for the competition subtasks and their mounts, including the Myrio system, are contained on the cart, and their power cables are routed through the linkages to prevent tangling and hitching. The first objective is to clear radioactive elements, represented as tennis balls seated in O-rings. Balls left in the home zone at the end of the round count for -6 points each. We did not attempt to complete this objective based on the fact that very few other teams did. This task was extremely difficult due to the distance the elements were from the starting zone, and it also would have been difficult to perform with a cart and base design, as most concepts to clear the elements would hinder the cart's movement. The group evaluated that clearing the elements would be a risk with little reward. Further, of the teams that did attempt the task, few were able to gain a significant point advantage due to this. Next on the objective list is to bring back 3 foam rocks from the home zone, up a slight incline and into the starting zone. Each rock is worth 18 points for a full retrieval and 9 points for a partial retrieval. This task starts 5 seconds into the game, once the cart is in its desired final position. A solenoid releases a lock placed in a trailer carried by the cart into the home zone. The trailer is then pulled back into the starting zone, dragging the rocks with it. The string that helps perform this task is routed from the trailer through a pulley mounted on the base and to a DC motor on the back of the cart, which is used as a winch. The motor runs for a constant time that was determined experimentally. This objective was evaluated to be not as important to the machine's success as the Mountain Ridge tasks. The Red Rover contained a functional subsystem to complete this objective, however not too many design resources or fine-tuning time was invested in it. This subsystem performed only somewhat reliably. Partial points for the rock collection were awarded during the final competition, however the group was not able to perfect the motor timing. This was mostly due to inconsistencies in the amount of resistance from the rocks. The incorrect timing of the winch motor proved to be disastrous in the second round of the final competition, when the motor ran for too long and torqued the entire cart backwards. This caused the flag to be lifted out of the cylindrical base, losing the Red Rover 60 points automatically, and gaining it only 18 points. First on the list of Mountain Ridge tasks is the safe landing of spacecraft. 4 pocket zones in the rotating mountain ridge contain lights and feature protrusions. These indicate their label as safe or unsafe. The goal is to land 4 squash ball spacecraft worth 15 points each in the safe zones for a total of 60 points. Unsafe landings, however, can subtract up to 80 points, worth -20 each. This task got the most attention as it was believed the group had a particular advantage to other designs, given that using the cart meant the bulk of our mechanisms would be butt up against the mountain ridge and it would not require anything very complex to accomplish this task. A simple box contained the spacecraft, and a motor tilted the box and poured them out. A long arm switch on the front edge of the cart cinched the number of protrusions that passed it while scanning for a safe zone and told the motor the proper time to pour them out. During the first round of the competition, the squash balls successfully deployed and netted 45 points, effectively nullifying the loss from the tennis balls. In the second round, we unfortunately had a mechanical failure. The switch and motor functioned properly, but the lip at the edge of the container box did not tilt down far enough to release the spacecraft. Distance-related problems sometimes cause the switch to be out of range of the protrusions during testing. The idea of using a webcam computer vision to relieve the need for this switch to be near the base was also considered, but later determined to be an inefficient use of funds. Though the problem of the switch to protrusion distance was resolved before the final competition, it was at the cost of a great deal of testing time, and ultimately having a dynamic switch that depended less on the cart's position would have resulted in a more robust subsystem all around. No mission to Mars would be complete without planting a flag. Placing the flag or suspending it above the central cavity of the mountain ridge is worth a hefty 60 points. As with the other mountain ridge tasks, this one got more attention than others, given our proximity to the cavity and the point reward. Physically reaching the cavity with an arm mechanism was easy and fell well within the cart dimensions, which made building quick and simple. Deployment method, however, went through several iterations that culminated in a self-actuating spring-loaded arm that flipped the flag over and suspended it above the cavity. In competition, the deployment mechanism worked flawlessly, but other factors moved the flag out of the zone. First, a play piece from the mountain ridge got lodged between the ridge and our cart, which rotated the entire assembly and pulled the flag out of play. In the second round, the winch motor ran for too long and torqued the cart slightly backwards, but enough to forfeit the points on the flag. Playpiece Rovers and Spacemen on the rotating mountain ridge, each worth 28 full or 14 partial points, were up for grabs for every team competing. Because there were only 4 such pieces, and they were available for any team to capture, speed was the only competitive factor involved in this task, as well as a bit of luck or ingenuity in making sure the captured pieces didn't bounce into another team's zone. The cart was already sufficiently fast to get in position and nab Rovers and Spacemen with a simple blocking piece and angled shim, all hinged to the same arm that deployed the flag. The blocker conveyed the pieces onto the cart into a box area with a lip opened by momentum. Combining this unactuated system with the self-actuated flag arm drastically reduced both the size and complexity of the overall cart mechanisms. As with the flag arm, the blocker piece deployed without issue in both testing and in competition. Across both rounds, other teams after the same pieces meant that we were only able to capture one piece, though this was expected given the competitive nature and the degree of luck involved in this particular subtask. The Red Rover that competed in the seeding competition saw a few changes before it went to the final competition. One such change was swapping the flag deployment arm from a pneumatically punched version that demanded a lot of pressure to actually work, to a spring-powered version that actuated more reliably and with no need for a mechatronic trigger. Once modifications were finished and code and setup procedure were refined, the Red Rover was off to competition. We competed in 2 rounds with all the other teams and performed relatively well despite setbacks. In the first round, a stray play piece cost us the first place position when it veered the cart and pulled the flag out. Our second round was promising at first, but we gave up a lot of points when the winch pulled the flag out and the spacecraft did not fully deploy. All in all, we did score enough points to participate in round 3 as a wild card, but part of the cart had already been dismantled and we decided against jerry-rigging it. While we didn't win the competition, we did learn a great deal from it, and from the project as a whole. The project was stressful at times, but was a tremendous experience, and the competition was a blast that's hard to find in any other college program.